Hello there, this is my first devlog, and I'm just kidding. I don't have an accent, I'm not another exotic game dev. It's just me, just the old North Carolina Dave. Welcome to the first devlog for Paper Mages, a game I'm developing in Unreal Engine under GentlyGiantLLC. Paper Mages is a new hybrid genre of card game and platformer third-person dueling type of game. And I'm calling it an RTSS-CG because it's not a CCG and it's not a RTS and it's not a platformer or anything like that. It's all of those together. It is a real-time systemic strategy card game. That's correct. It is a dueling card game done in real time in third person in an arena with cards that make up your deck, almost like a deck builder as well. And the cards that you already own are randomly shuffled into your hand of about 10 cards. If you want to see more about it and read some more of the information, you can check out my website, GentlyGiant.com. And you can also wishlist the game on Steam now, as well as join the Paper Mages Discord, which you'd probably be the first or second member there. My game dev journey began last year around March. I decided I had some free time. I had just lost my job. It was amazing. I still had some freelance work, but I had extra time, and I figured I wanted to go for Unreal Engine for more reasons than one. I like making films, and it's a great tool for CG artists to use. I wanted to go ahead and start learning about game design, game development. I also knew blueprints were a really accessible tool and very powerful. Strangely enough, I started watching a YouTuber called Ponty Pants last year, and he had started just a little bit before me. He's a little bit more experienced with C#, but pretty cool that we started around the same time. By the way, great work so far on Punch a Bunch, Ponty. From there, it took me about the rest of the year to finish my first game. My plan was to come up with a solid, strong, complete idea that was a short game, a short horror game. And I did it, and I launched it on Steam. I learned the process. You know, I'm pretty happy with it, especially considering it's my first game. It's called She Doesn't Walk. It's only $3, and it's a fun game to play with friends in the room. It's not multiplayer. It's a fun game. There's a story there and a pretty cool mechanic to it. So check it out. I'll post a link. The game did exactly around what I thought it would do. It sold a few $100s worth. That's all right. Sure, it'd been nice to get extra hash browns at Waffle House, but that's okay. It would have been great to order a drink with my meal, but that's all right. All jokes aside, I started this new game with my newfound experience and understanding and room to grow, which I've already grown since then, in February of this year. Funnily enough, I also got the job that I'm working currently in February of this year. In watching all these YouTube devlogs, I've learned that there are a majority of developers who are programmers that then learn the art side. I'm the opposite. I'm a CGI artist. I'm good with 3D modeling, 3D sculpting, texturing, the whole pipeline, illustration, concept art. I know it's a lot of different things, but I actually have specialized in a lot of things. And you can check out my work on my ArtStation, which is right here. And very quickly, my day job is that I work for a game studio / VR studio called Amoebus Labs. We're working on a VR game right now for the Quest, and it's pretty awesome. It's a gardening game. It looks nice. So you guys can check that out as well soon. It's going to be available later this month. So back to my game. I mentioned a CCG, which is a collectible card game, and I also mentioned a deck builder. CCGs are going to be your things like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Hearthstone. Usually you see them as tabletop card games. A deck builder, you got to think something like Slay the Spire. A big difference being that your deck is built during the game, and how you put those cards together really affects how you progress. How Paper Mages is different is both players start with 30 cards, and they're the same cards. The more you play and the better you get, the more cards you unlock. So these cards exist, but you don't get to choose which ones you get. They're still randomly given to you, but they exist from a pool of cards that you already have unlocked. There will be a total of at least 130 cards, and all these cards are dang darn fancy and unique. I've been slowly refining and working on this game idea, honestly, for the last at least 10 years. So in these descriptions alone, you can already see how it's different than something like Slay the Spire, which Slay the Spire is awesome in its own way. This just is a different kind of game. Primarily going to be just 1 to 2 players, eventually and potentially 4 players, maybe. It's going to be like a real-time Wizard's Duel. How you use your cards, how you use your strategy, how you use your location in the map, it all plays into you winning. It also plays into really fun things happening and funny situations. Like this, for instance. This is the Dead Arms card. It's an action card. If I hit my opponent with this card, they will not be able to use their hands, meaning they cannot cast a card or they cannot grapple for at least 15 seconds. Now, if I get hit with that, but if I end up and use something like Oni speed just before that, I'll be running and flapping around like Bruce Willis in Die Hard, or Emilio Estevez in Loaded Weapon, or the Mighty Ducks, or the Breakfast Club. You may be thinking, we've seen something kind of like this before, right? Like there was a Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories game, kind of like that, right? Not at all. No. Please zip it. The thing with games that use cards the way Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories did is that it doesn't matter if it's a card or a button press. Essentially, you're getting cards that aren't all that special, but do things that are similar to each other in similar ways. You get an attack card, you get 3 attack cards. It's just 3 attack cards. It's like saying you can push the hit button 3 times. You might get special cards that have ice damage or whatever attached to them, but again, it's just attack, but with ice damage attached to it. That doesn't even really have that big of an effect. It's basically just limiting how much you can do certain things. It's a problem actually with magic in general in video games. You have spells that do certain things, but it doesn't matter if it's fire or ice or electricity, it's still just removing hit points from the player. What's special about Paper Mages is that the cards are each special. You might get a fireball card and it might just do fire damage, but if you were to freeze your opponent first and then do fire damage, it's going to do more damage because that's what science tells us. As a matter of fact, if you freeze a certain wall or a certain room and then use a fireball card, maybe a wall will break. I'm going to have to get into that later. But here's where it gets fun. You take a Borrow Flame action card before using a fireball card, and if you use that Borrow Flame in a room that has a couple of candle flames floating in it, each one of those candle flames is going to multiply your fireball damage by 1.5. It's also going to make the fireball bigger and make a bigger explosion. Certain cards also only work in certain parts of the map. That's where the systemic comes in as well, and that's where this becomes even more dynamic. Some players are stronger at night. Some cards will make you stronger in moonlight. Some cards make you jump higher. Some make you take more damage in daylight. And some races, of course the vampire, makes you take more damage in daylight as well. I'll be making a video next about cards specifically and combos and just how fun and cool it is going to be to mix these and play with these in this sandbox arena, basically, is what it's going to feel like. Lastly, I want to talk about who Paper Mages is geared towards. You may or may not have gotten a Morrowind vibe while watching some of these clips. And if you did, that's fantastic. You know fun games. You may have also gotten a Smash Bros kind of vibe. Less likely because Smash Bros is a 2.5D side view game. But hopefully you got some of that playfulness that comes through. At the very least, Capcom or Nintendo. That's what I'm going for. Morrowind meets Capcom / Nintendo / Sony / PS5 / PC. But it's especially a game for people who like playing card games, tabletop card games, and people who like playing video games with strategy and fighting and dueling in that kind of way. So hopefully this kind of marries the two together for people who love like a real nice real-time strategy with the fun elements of card game, like a collecting cards and accessories and unlocking things, which is another Smash Bros type thing, getting all those accessories and just having fun. Well, that's the end of my first devlog video. The next video, like I mentioned, is going to be about cards, the card types, card combos, the design, my special shaders for the holographic material in Unreal Engine, And maybe later on, I'll also do an Unreal Engine and Unity comparison and why I chose Unreal Engine. I work with Unity for my day job and it's awesome, but I feel like Unreal Engine seems scarier to beginners, but I feel like it honestly is a bit more accessible. Thanks for watching. Please remember to check out my Discord and be the first member there. And check out my website, GentlyGiant.com, where you can enter your email address in to keep up to date with some emails about the game. And also please wishlist my game on Steam. Thanks. Talk to you guys soon.